What's up guys, Mickle here, and it seems like forever now since we have been able to make any positive gains in the cryptocurrency market. Guys, in this video, I want to go over why that is the case, but more importantly, I want to talk about what is changing right now that could have a massive impact on the current environment we're in. Guys, we are watching some massive changes on the macro taking place right now that could completely turn this market around. Guys, make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. You are not going to want to miss it. Guys, I also want to go over two very big misconceptions when it comes to XRP. The first being volatility and the second being decentralization. Guys, in this video, I want to show you why people are so wrong when they talk about these two topics. And I want to show you that XRP is actually one of the leaders when it comes to these two categories. Guys, make sure to stick around for that. This is very important. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my link for Uphold down in the description below. Uphold is my favorite place to buy and sell XRP. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, real quick, moomoo just upped their holiday promotion, and you can now win 20 free stocks if you sign up with moomoo using the link in the description of this video. Guys, you can also win a chance to win $60,000 in their holiday sweepstakes. Guys, moomoo is an awesome trading platform. They have a great interface and they're regulated. So guys, do not miss out on this opportunity to get some free money, and go sign up with moomoo now using the link in the description of this video. So guys, I want to start out this video and give a quick shout out to Rosalind Layton. She is a reporter covering the Ripple SEC case, and guys, I think it's so important we bring attention to people like this because there are so many different reporters who will just take the side of a government agency to keep themselves out of any controversy that could possibly be created by them being negative on the government. But guys, Rosalind does not care at all, and she has been so truthful when covering this case. Take a look at this quote from the article she recently put out. It says the agency, and she's talking about the SEC, the agency has been on an enforcement tear as of late, eager to bash any and all crypto assets, even those which play by the rules. And guys, the title of her article is The SEC Punishing Progress While Rewarding Confusion. Guys, it does not get more accurate than this, and this is the biggest problem most cryptocurrency investors have with the SEC right now. It's not only that the SEC is going after projects and destroying them, but the most confusing part about it is the SEC seems fine to let scams go on and do their thing, and the SEC is instead choosing to go after projects who are trying to do the right thing. Ripple is one of the most compliant cryptocurrency companies in the market. They do more than anyone to try to focus on transparency, and they have been meeting with the SEC and other government regulators since 2013. Ripple has been trying to do the right thing since day one. They have been trying to be the best company they possibly can be, and the SEC chooses to punish them. All while this is going on, the SEC decides to help out different companies like FTX who are literally committing fraud. And guys, that is how you get into such a regulatory mess like we're in right now. The SEC is shutting down the good players while letting scams flourish, and it's absolutely disgusting. This is my biggest problem with the SEC right now, and I think a lot of other people out there like Rosalind. It's one thing for the SEC to just have a lack of knowledge about cryptocurrencies in general, but it's a completely different issue to be focusing on hurting the good players in the industry while promoting the bad players. Guys, ultimately, I think the SEC is going to pay for this because regulators are going to realize that the SEC is not fit to handle the cryptocurrency industry. I just want to make sure Rosalind gets the credit she deserves here because not a lot of reporters are willing to write stuff like this, and I just think it's overall excellent that she is doing this. So guys, now I want to move on and show you another article that just came out. It says SEC versus Ripple case will end in settlement, believes majority of the XRP community. Now guys, I have a feeling why the majority of the people in the XRP community think that this case will end in a settlement is likely because a lot of very smart lawyers in our community have told us that it is a very likely outcome for this case to conclude. Now, a lot of people hear settlement and say, oh, that's just hopium. This case will never settle. We're going the distance. And guys, I just want to point out, this case could go the distance and still settle. It's not hopium. The reason people really think there will be a settlement is because 90% of cases with the SEC ultimately settle. The stats are in favor of a settlement. But just understand, that doesn't mean the case is suddenly just going to be over just like that. Guys, this case could go all the way to summary judgment. Judge Torres could make a ruling and the case could still settle. It's so important to realize that just because a settlement sometimes can be a quick and easy thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that's how this settlement will happen. This case could go all the way to summary judgment and the parties could come together and settle just so the judge doesn't have to make the final ruling. These are just things to consider here. I see a lot of people hear the word settlement and say, oh, that's just hopium. That's never going to happen. We're going the distance. Guys, we could go the distance and still have a settlement. I think there's going to be a settlement ultimately in this case because most cases with the SEC do settle. The SEC is not going to want certain documents to become public, and the only way they can prevent those from going public is to settle this case. And Ripple also has an incentive to settle this case because it would prevent the SEC from appealing decisions that could be made if this case does end in summary judgment. Guys, ultimately, I just want to point this out. If people are talking about a settlement and people are saying that's just hopium, just realize it's really not. The stats are on the side of a settlement happening. If it doesn't, so be it. Either way, I think Ripple's in a great position. I just wanted to point that out. So guys, I want to move on and show you a pretty interesting visualization I just saw in regards to decentralization, specifically between Bitcoin and XRP. Guys, we see a lot of different crypto bills coming out right now, specifically by Senator Loomis, saying, oh, Bitcoin's not a security because it's so decentralized, but most of the other altcoins out there, those will be securities. Well, guys, take a look at this. This is just a chart of the validation power of Bitcoin. And as we can see, because of Bitcoin's structure, because you are rewarded for providing validation power to the network, you tend to have centralization on who has the cheapest power. If you can get cheap power, you are incentivized to validate a lot of blocks and get a lot of Bitcoin. And because of that, you see centralization in the biggest pools in the world. The biggest pools can get the cheapest power, therefore they can validate the most blocks and they control most of the network. But guys, when you have a network like XRP, where there's no reward for controlling more of the network, well, you tend to have a more even distribution of validation power. Take a look how equally distributed the validation power for the XRPL is. It is so much more distributed and decentralized than Bitcoin. And guys, these are the things that senators and congressmen just don't understand. They don't see this kind of stuff. They have no idea this is how it actually works. And if most of them saw this, they would probably be shocked. At the end of the day, they just don't understand cryptocurrencies at a high enough level to be making these bills. And guys, that is one of the reasons why I actually think we are so lucky to be in the Ripple SEC case. Guys, XRP is going to get its clarity through the court, and it's going to be deemed a non-security because there's no investment contract between XRP holders and Ripple the company. It doesn't make any sense to call XRP a security, but most cryptocurrencies are not going to have this opportunity. Most cryptocurrencies are going to have some corrupt politician who doesn't understand stuff like this making an ultimate decision on what the security status of that cryptocurrency is. Guys, the fact that our decision is going to come from the courts and we have a non-biased judge, someone who actually understands these things making the final decision, guys, I really do think that's the best we're going to get. And I think even though we've had to go through this entire case, we've had to fight the SEC tooth and nail for everything, I think ultimately it's going to end up being very beneficial. And I think we're going to look back on this and actually be very happy that the SEC chose to go after Ripple, because at the end of the day, I think they're going to end up making XRP the only regulated asset in the United States. And guys, while we have our clarity from the courts, all the other projects are going to be begging corrupt politicians to make a sound, smart decision. And based on everything I have seen, I do not expect that to happen. So guys, I want to finish this video off and quickly show you some very important charts I have been seeing that could tell us that we could be very close to a massive turnaround in the cryptocurrency market. And guys, these are massively bullish things on the macro, and that is really what we need to see change in order for cryptocurrencies to take back off. First, I quickly want to address volatility. A lot of people say, oh, you can't hold cryptocurrencies, they're too volatile, you have to be super careful. Guys, take a look at the chart of XRP for the past 5 years. It's been relatively consistent, pretty stable for 5 years now in comparison to things like Tesla. Tesla went up a cliff, now it's dropping off a cliff. Things like ARK are doing the same thing. They're going up a cliff, down a cliff. Guys, cryptocurrencies are no less or no more volatile than traditional markets. It's just a narrative. They want to keep you out of it. But with that said, I want to show you some things that are looking very promising. First, it says recession expectations. And as we can see, typically when recession expectations hit a peak, we typically hit a bottom for the market. We can see this happen in March 2009 and April 2020. And guys, it looks like we're forming another peak right here. This would be an excellent sign to say that we are very close or have already seen a bottom in the markets. And guys, we really are approaching that max fear time where everyone is expecting the worst recession in history to be around the corner, but we're yet to see the signs of that massive recession actually taking place. And that's not to say we won't have a recession, it's just to say we might not have a recession as bad as the market is expecting it to be. I want to show you something else very important, and that is the strength of the dollar. We saw the dollar go on a ripping tear. It went insane and went to brand new all-time highs. And guys, that was putting a ton of pressure on markets. Everyone was fearful of this massive recession coming. Everyone was selling their assets to get into cash. But guys, we see that flipping now. We see the dollar falling off a cliff. And typically when the dollar falls like this, it tends to fall for a while. You can see every single major drawdown in the dollar lasted a while. And guys, if we see money flowing out of the dollar, it needs to find a place to go, and it will likely flow back into equity markets. It will likely flow back into cryptocurrencies. So this is a very bullish sign. And guys, last of all, this was pointed out by a lot of different companies in their earnings call. They are all saying that they are actually starting to see deflation in the market right now. Guys, the biggest reason why prices across the different markets are even going down is because the Federal Reserve started hiking rates to battle inflation. Guys, if we see inflation go away and get replaced by deflation, well, that means the Federal Reserve can stop hiking rates, and this would take a massive weight off the markets. Guys, we have seen all markets right now move in tandem to the downside. Everything is just going down because everyone is so scared of the Federal Reserve, so scared of a recession, that people are just selling everything into cash, and that is what made the dollar spike. But guys, if we see deflation come into the market and the Federal Reserve can stop hiking rates, well guys, people are going to feel a lot more comfortable going out of cash and back into risk assets, and that is exactly what the market needs to take back off. Guys, let's see what happens, but I have a feeling we might have seen people overly fearful of the next Great Depression that might not actually happen, and we can see a lot of people forced to rush back into the market, and guys, that is exactly what it looks like could be happening right now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much, and for now, Mickle out.